It's like telling somebody, giving them a book on love, and if they've never experienced love, no matter how much information you give them, they're not going to get the experience of love. And not only that, is that I recognize, again, and it won't take long before much of the quality of this experience will dissipate, because a human mind just can't grasp it, or at least at the stage we're at. And at that point, I didn't have the awareness, but I all of a sudden realized that the light was withdrawing and I was returning to this world. I didn't make the choice, or if I did, it wasn't conscious to me at that point. And in turning around and facing this world and having it come more into resolution, I recognized that, or just realized that this is paper mache. This is two-dimensional. It's just made up. And we've bought the story. We've become attached to this. From that perspective, it was something that we can create in. It's required to create. We need this separation. We need the time and space to create at the level that we are. It's an incredible experience. One of the things that I realized as I was merging towards the light and all separation began to dissipate is the one thing the light does not have is creation. Within unity, it has to create separation. If you look at stories of origin throughout the world, it is that story of descension, the separation of night and day. 5 minutes. Oh gosh, I've been talking fast. No, I forgot where I was going. What's that?
Separation.
Oh, separation, night and day. Yeah, the story of the fish doesn't know it's in the sea until it jumps out. The only way we can experience the phenomenal world is through separation. And we're being crushed by thousands of pounds of air right now. And the only way you could experience would be to expel your air and then try to expand your lungs, and all of a sudden you feel some pressure. But without that difference, we don't experience it. All of our thoughts, the same way. No thought is independent of itself. It is all related to something else. So I was talking to someone the other day, and they said that you go to a different culture, you get a very different answer to the question of who are you. We answer it in what we do. We are the things of what we do. Now, if I can relate back to what I'm really wanting to do and look at the power of crisis, is that the people I work in the rehab system are challenged with redefining who they are. Their life as they defined it, as they identified themselves, is gone. And they either go down with the ship, limp along limitedly, or they let that go. And you see the same process in your death experiences, that their reality is fractured irreparably. And the challenge then is to bring a new coherence to their world. And the opportunity for transformation exists in every circumstance that we are facing. It doesn't have to be special. It doesn't have to have these cosmic experiences. When I work with people, and the people I've interviewed that have gone through deep, deep crisis, that coherence comes perhaps over years or even decades. Or when I talk to them, they'll say, well, that terminal illness, it took that for me to get here, because it fractured the world I know. One man who's in his 50s, who's a quadriplegic since he was a junior in high school, he can't move his arms, he can't have sex, he can't pee by himself. I mean, very basic handicaps. And yet, I asked him, well, what was this injury to you? And he said, I don't think I could experience the quality of life that I have without that. I look at the people around me, they're struggling through to get through life, And I face it very, very differently. And it took that experience for me to open up to this. So that's what you see in NDE experiences, where people integrate and they face the world in a very fundamentally different way. We don't need that. And that's something that I'm very dedicated to communicating. We don't need the deep crises in our lives. People define that bottom wherever they define it, and they define it by letting go. This isn't who I am. What's true? How do I face the truth at this point? My own experience the first time around was that I was on disability for several years. They said, you've got cognitive difficulties. To stand up in front of a group like this was impossible for me. And they said, adult brains don't heal. So goodbye. And so I bought that for several years until there was something that I wanted, and it was out of the circle of possibility. Now I'm transiting this experience in a very different way. I'm in the chaos. I'm reinventing my life. I lost my job last spring. I can't drive. I get emotional. And yet, there's creation, there's opportunity all around us, no matter what's happening. And to put some context around crisis, since I got maybe a minute left, when I was 20 years old, I was depressed, I wasn't getting it, I wasn't successful in the terms of the world, and I knew there was something better. And I remember rolling into this gas station when they still had self-service gas stations. You see how old I am. And this guy who was 60 years old or so, an old guy, came up to serve me. I don't know if we exchanged 2 or 3 words. I don't know what it was. But 3 blocks later, I'm humming and singing. I'm going, wow, I haven't expressed this. For months, I've not felt this. How did this happen? And I traced it right back to that man. He was totally present with me. And he didn't have a degree, he didn't have anything to fix me with. He was just totally present. So I'll leave you with that.